Well, look at that. Looks like we're talking about the nature of time today. Fascinating. But not just the nature of time, how you yourself can connect with time in your life more effectively. Because there are so many of us who are living in this world right now who believe that they are at the mercy of time. However, in today's conversation, I'm going to offer us a few perspectives that we can explore to expand our understanding around how we can work with time so that we can contribute to living our most satisfying lives here and now. Now, whether this is our first time or our millionth time, I am Danielle Lynn. It's wonderful to connect with you. I have conversations like this with super cool creators such as yourself who are choosing to live a more intentional life in your own satisfying way. Now, time is something that intersects all of us when we're living this human experience. I'm offering this perspective because we have an opportunity to take a look at your relationship to time. Applying this to your day-to-day life is about understanding that anything you say about time, I don't have enough time, I need more time, I want more time, these are all mantras and they've been programmed into your reality. I invite you to start noticing the mantras you repeat. Okay, anything you repeat, I'm calling a mantra right now. The mantras you repeat about your time. And then also just observe in general the mantras you repeat about time if you like. I found it really helpful to take a look at what I was saying about time in my time. I discovered in the past that there were a lot of places that I was limiting the scope of time, how I could interact with time, how time could reach me. And I treated time as an enemy to be conquered rather than realizing that I was engaging with time mentally and I was creating stories about how time affected me or didn't affect me. So as you're tracking time and your relationship with time and what you think is possible, you might start noticing where you have temporarily closed yourself off around time. Keep in mind that it may be true that the patterns in your life at the present moment may reflect a perceived constriction in time, right? Perhaps you have a lot of responsibilities, a lot of things you're tending to. I would invite you to remember that you existed before those schedules and experiences, and you will exist after them. There may be some very valid reasons for you why you are perpetuating certain schedules or certain ways of moving. For many, they may see that as their only option, which I very much understand. The invitation is to say, I'm curious if it is my only option. I'm curious what else could be. Allowing yourself that dignity of curiosity can open you up to new possibilities that you can apply practically in your life, aka you got more time and space and energy to play with things because you didn't know what you didn't know until you were aware of it. And now you're moving in the soup in a whole new way, right? All right, so now I'm going to present to you a perspective that time itself is a bit of a paradox. My experience is that we are an expanded field of conscious awareness, and we are having these temporary experiences, and they're experiences for the joy of, let's just say, having an experience, right? It's like the ultimate escape room or something, like the ultimate experience. And we are doing it with ourself. When you remember that we are not only the body, we're also the expanded consciousness. The expanded consciousness lives beyond the constraints of time and space. It temporarily can be in the body to experience a temporary perceived constraint of time and space, but it's not actually. It's an illusion. This is important because from that perspective, from the perspective of your higher consciousness, time is an illusion. From the perspective of the body, it's experiencing a perceived passage of time and it appears to be very real. Combining these two together, okay, it's not about one over the other, is what creates a perceived paradox that both can appear to be simultaneously true. We could perceive the each new now moment as a sequence, similar to how if you have, let's say, a movie film, you have the entire movie in the film. This is me holding the film. You have the entire movie in the film. And if you unravel the film, you can look at the individual pictures, right, that make up the whole film. This is back in the day when they put it on film and it wasn't all digital. So you'd have these individual pictures, and then by running it through a projector really fast, it made the pictures appear to move in sequence. And as they moved in sequence, the speed at which each sequence was being projected appeared to make the film look like it was moving. And it looked like one static thing, even though it was thousands of images that were all just being run through the filter of light. Go figure. So I'm pointing this out because in a similar way, you can look at life just like that. There's only the snapshot of the now, and then there's the snapshot of the now, and then there's the snapshot of the now, and the perceived sequence of each of those snapshots gives us the illusion of time passing, of there having been a past, of there going to be a future. And you're looking at everything that's happening in the now moment. You could potentially look at the past, present, and future simultaneously because it's all happening, and it's only when we're, if this is like the entire presentation of existence, it's only us going really close to it and then moving our vision along existence that appears to create movement and a timeline. The reason this is, let's say, invaluable to you right now, if you want to explore giving yourself more time, is one, you start to understand that since everything's happening now, that's where your power is, so you don't ever lose it in the past and you don't have to reach for it in the future. That's great. So if you like, here's a few more perspectives to enhance your relationship with time. Time neither needs to be seen as a friend or an enemy. It can be seen as a different texture, a different color, a different panel in which to interface with this reality. You can understand that you can simultaneously be experiencing the perceived passage of time while another aspect of you is timeless. You might consider that when you sleep, when you dream, when you are in a flow state, time appears to shift. Sometimes it can appear to stand still or move so fast that you couldn't even believe how it flew by. Notice that we have idioms that reflect that time is flexible. Time speeds by, it flies by, it drags by, it stops. Even in our playfulness, we remember how flexible time is. When I choose to remember deeper, I take in a full breath. Breathe out naturally. And I start with curiosity. I'm curious about my true relationship with time. I'm curious about my natural relationship with times and cycles. I'm intrigued about remembering how time and I fluidly flow with each other, as each other. I remember my ability to pop in and out of perceived time. And I remember that I am ultimately having my experiment experience. And I have all the time I choose. All right, my friend, this was a fun conversation today, talking on time and space like the wild creators we are. I have some links in the description if you would like to check them out. Always have some kind of fun things going on now and again. And if you have any comments, any questions, please feel invited to leave them in the comments and question place. In all cases, I look forward to our next conversation together.